actually worked out, and the original one is a screw-in piece like the new one, just it's made of aluminium. Okay, so this is the bearing holder that's been removed from the port hull, and actually it looks fine. So I don't know whether we should go ahead and replace the starboard one as well. We do have the bits, the new bits, or whether we should just replace the bottom bearing, which we have new ones of as well. These are the new bearings, and as you can see, they actually have rollers inside, whereas the original ones don't. Interesting. Almost as soon as the old one is out, the hole in the bottom has been cleaned up, the guy inside cleaned up, and the new one is going in. Can't believe it's all happening so quickly. 200 on it, seal it all up. And then it goes.
James, voy. No, es necesario. No, mira. Ya ves.
Now it's getting some extra sealant on the inside for the What's going on?
Puede ser alto impostor, o no debe ser el mismo ahorita, no han dejado el gasto para
So, the second bearing is going in, it's getting 5200, and then it goes in the hole. So, progress. Okay, so here we are today on Wednesday. We've been lifted up by the machine and we're parked on higher bits of wood. Well, I think the machine's still supporting us, and that was so that we could refit the rudders. When we refitted the rudders, sadly neither of them turned what I consider to be the maximum amount required. And the upshot of it all, it was decided we'd cut the top off the rudder, which we have done, both of them. You see the little bits there lying on the ground. And then they have to be prepared. They've been, what do you call it, fiberglassed, and now they're sanding it. And after they've done that, gel coat will be applied, and then undercoat. So, more work. So, this is the drip tray that comes from underneath our generator, and as you can see, it's pretty filthy. It's been in there for 10 years, and the guys have got it out and they're taking it away to clean it up and then bring it back and refit. So, a bit of a job. Just come back from the workshop, cleaned up, so that's all good. It's about to be refitted. All good. We've got the G&M guys in the engine bay trying to work out why the 4 engine didn't start on the button. And I've got a suspicion it's because the panel is old and rusty, and I've got a new one on the starboard one, but I didn't put a new one on the port one. Okay, so the guys from G&M worked out that it was this solenoid. There's a solenoid which is perhaps better known that sits on top of the starter motor, but this is another solenoid which is needed also, and it worked out that this one was kaput. Fortunately, I had a spare one which I brought with me from Thailand back in 2021. It got wet because I used to carry it in the front cupboard where the generator is, not realising there was so much water getting in there, and I was worried that it might have been destroyed by the salt water. But anyway, we've just started the motor and it works, so all is good. Okay, I've got the circlip off the end of the spindle that runs through the steering wheel. It was a bit of a fiddle, and it's the last bit that will go back on. Okay, so it is now Monday, 3 weeks to the day since we arrived here for a quick 10-day, maybe 2-week refit, and we're still here. I think we'll still be here next week. Anyway, today, a bit of a milestone. We've got the steering system back together completely. You can see the new chain is on this new cog. You can't see the other new cog at the back, but it's there as well. And downstairs and down here you can see the new chain coming to the new cog that's on the end of the autopilot. You can just about see there. That's probably not in focus. And the autopilot is refitted. Hopefully that will cure the problems we've been having with the autopilot. Been happening for a long time now, and it never seems to get fixed properly. This time we've replaced pretty much every part of the steering system that sort of could be causing the problem, and hopefully that's the end of it. But only time will tell when we get out to sea and have a proper sea trial. Bye for now. Okay, so very quickly we got the new pipe in place, and now it's just warming it up to soften the plastic so that we can get it on the end of the tube. It's a very, very tight fit. So, having got the pipe replaced from the inside in the toilet, we're now back to gel coating it. This starboard hull, the forward, the bow of it, is where we had the big hole. Those of you who've been following us a long time may remember that we had a big hole here in 2022 that was a problem, and Felix, our man in Lanzarote, see if he fixed it for us, but it's a problem. He got a lot of water out of it then, and we're getting water out of it again this end. So the decision is that we need to go all the way to the top and redo it all with some fiberglass as well as some gel coat, obviously, on the outside. The port hull has a little bit of a crack in the gel coat up near the top. And that worries me a little bit as well, but he doesn't think this is as bad, just needs a little repair. So Roland and Leah are getting hauled out today. They were coming in nose first, and the guys wanted them to reverse it, and they said they haven't got reverse gear. So the guys are pulling it in using their launcher, and Roland's keeping the nose in the right position. So at last the weather has been kind to us, and that anti-foul is going on. Wow, that looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Still working on the bows though, where the cracks were. And this one's still got to be finished off as well. Getting there slowly but surely. Basically done with one coat. It's nice. Obviously there's still a bit there, stanchion bits to do. That looks pretty good. The masking tape is still on. I think they're doing 2 coats, so it will stay on for a bit. It dries so quickly here. I think they'll be able to do the second coat today. This is why they're rushing so much. They finish at 1, so only another couple of hours to go and they'll be off, so need to get it done. Interesting. applied the first coat of undercoat, there were a few cracks that were just too big to fill up with paint essentially. So I've come and filled and continued to fill all the cracks on the way down. They're all sort of tiny hairline cracks, but sort of, you can see it like that. Okay, so the sail dries have been sanded down. It's essentially impossible to get all the way up to the top. Unless you did it by hand, it took forever. It's possibly a bit unreasonable. But they've been sanded down and now the paint is going on. Undercoat. Seems a little bit like sacrilege, but to sand these brand new propellers, but we're going to put prop speed on it, which is a specialised prop paint, and to do that it needs a little bit of sanding just to give it something to grip onto, or grip onto better. The boot strap continues, polishing it off before they remove the last of the masking tape and so on. Same on this side. So the boot strap looks a lot better now. It was looking very tired and faded previously. Looks a lot better now. And yesterday I think the guy finished the boots for the sail dries. Instead of using the rubber ones, which Mario didn't have, he was having to reorder. The manager here, or the owner here, Abel, said they used to use solid ones, and I've heard of this before. So he said they could make them out of fiberglass and just screw them on, which they have done. And today they've painted them as well. So that's all good. Hopefully they will last a lot better than the rubber ones, which were expensive and didn't last any length of time at all. So I'm quite pleased about that, really. Tuesday morning. It's a beautiful day here on the reel, or on the hard. We're not actually on the reel. And today the guys have put the generator box back together again, and the G&M guys finished reconnecting all the pipes and so on that they'd taken off to disconnect the box. Not to get the box off, because the pipes go through, particularly that back side over here on the far side, and you have to disconnect them all to get it out. And then the guys here from Abel's manufactured the covers, and they even put the sign back on the front, which is very nice. It's plywood. It's covered in fiberglass, and then gel coat, and then painted. So it's a pretty good job. It's not as perfect as it was. They did take the foam sound insulation off the original covers and stuck them on the inside, so we still have some sound deadening. New foam would have been nice, but we didn't have either the time or the money really to do that. So there we go. It's all back together again, and that more or less completes our last job here on the hard, apart from the batteries and the solar arch. So it's lunchtime on day one of the battery installation, and as you can see, they are all in. They're not all connected up or anything like that. No, by no means.
Step one.
Step one is in.
Step one, we're celebrating.
The end one is actually connected to the system, so it is running. The others are not connected, but there's a lot of progress on day one, and it's only lunchtime on day one, so more progress to come. Okay, so I forgot to take any pictures last night of the installation. We are now sort of installed. It's not finalised. There's going to be some braces across the top to stop the batteries moving, and also so that we can replace the lid to get some usage out of that. This fuse is also going to be fitted. There is a fuse downstairs, but supposedly the fuse should be within 18 inches of the batteries, which the one downstairs clearly isn't. It's several metres away. So Chris is going to install one on the end here, and this one here on the end, and then that will give us some more protection for the batteries. So there we are, looking good already. Okay guys, this is the Victron Servo interface. Chris has changed the interface to an alternative user interface, and it's a bit different, but I quite like it. Basically all the power comes in this side and then goes that way essentially, so the AC loads and the DC loads are above each other at the end. The solar is this side rather than on the other side, which is a bit random, and the generator's up here as well, not running of course, we're out the water, with the inverter and the battery interconnecting everything. We had a bit of trouble yesterday with the battery display, not this bit. It was only essentially seeing one battery, which was to do with the way the cables were connected up. But now we got it right. Let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. So this is the battery details. The battery modules, there are 4 of them that are online. The installed capacity and the available capacity. The installed capacity is 1320 amp hours, 1320 amp hours, and the available capacity is 794, because it's down to 60% or so. So it gives us quite a lot more information than the old display did, which is rather nice. The only thing I don't like about it so much is that, as far as I can tell, you have to just keep going backwards to get to the overview. But other than that, it's fine.